Hi, welcome to Matt's Garage. I don't have a tagline for this show. Should I? What do you guys think? Should I have a tagline? I'll think of one. Today we're digging into the drivetrain of this 1966 Ford Bronco and just getting acquainted with what's under the hood. I mentioned in the prior episode that this is in the middle of an Explorer swap. That's when I bought it. So I'm going to get under there, figure out what I'm dealing with, and so I can figure out what the next steps are to get this thing to bark off and start running. Now I'm going to bring you in for a closer look on what I got. You can see that the original Explorer manifold is long gone. They've got this YN manifold on here, that's fine. Also on here was this Holley carb, and it looks like it's in horrible condition, so I don't know really what I'm gonna do with this. So the horn number on this thing is 80457-Z or -2 or 2780. Not sure what that is, but I suspect it's too much carb. I have a distributor on order that'll be here Friday. The power steering is pinched off because this is a manual steering Bronco. And it looks, I think the AC used to sit out here if I'm not mistaken. So there's no AC, so the belt's already shorter to accommodate that. What I'm trying to figure out is, does the mechanical fuel pump, can I get a water or a timing cover with the mechanical fuel pump boss to work with this serpentine setup? I know I need to put it in a cam eccentric, but can I even run a fuel pump? Like, is there room to put a fuel pump here and have the radiator come out on the driver's side as it does with the serpentine setup? Any help with that would be very much appreciated. If it's too much of a pain to go mechanical fuel pump, I have, this was under the hood. This is a Carter 152-875 electric fuel pump, and judging by the weight, this is a pretty stout unit, so I could always run that as a backup if the mechanical solution isn't good. I'm gonna try to see if I can identify the transmission. You want to go down there with me? Well, here's a shot of the numbers. Come into the other side of the transmission. You know, you got your gear selector. I don't see the throttle kick down. This looks like a pretty normal Dana 20. Is there a tag on it? Oh yeah. Yeah, model Dana 20. And it's got the speedometer drive attached. That's good. Oh, parking brakes. Oh my God, what the heck? There's a unit strut hanging here. Oh, thank goodness that didn't fall out while I was towing it home. Hey, behind that unit strut though, brand new gas tank. That looks good. I wonder if there's anything in it. Sounds pretty empty. That's good. That makes my life easier if I need to drop it. There's a tag on this. What's that say? 109, that makes no sense. I gotta figure out what the gears are in here. Maybe there's a tag on the Dana 44. All right, let's see if there's a plate here. There is. Oh, does that say 4.1? Please say that's it. 4.10, dude. That is good news. In the not so good news territory, those bushings are shot. To be expected though. That looks relatively new. Maybe that's because I hit it with the pressure washer though. Yeah. I don't know. Niobe's joining me. She came out just when I came out from under the Bronco. So I was trying to figure out what's under there. Okay, right. So the engine is like an Ford Explorer engine, I think. I'm going to try to get a tag off of it. All right. There's a number there we can check out later. The transmission, I got a number off of it, and even though it starts with a C6, it's a C4 transmission, which is super confusing. Yeah. That's the same type of automatic transmission that was in the prior Bronco I had, okay?
But not the same transmission, just similar kind?
It's the same, almost the exact same type of transmission. But not the one that came with this Bronco. The one that came with this Bronco was a 3-speed manual, so you shift like this up and down with a clutch. And,
that sounds like a lot more work.
It's a lot more work, and there's only 3 speeds, so it's very different. Dana 20 transfer case, which is the same as the Bronco and the Scout. Slightly different models, but the same make. And then a Ford 9-inch rear end, which, you know, makes no sense to you. And a front Dana 44. But the good news is the gears are 410s, which is like a great gear for having big tires. That's the same gears that are in the Scout.
You put big tires? Or are these
No,
big tires?
no. But when I put big tires, and it makes sense because the previous owner said that he was going on the freeway, he couldn't get any speed. And if you got 410s and these tiny tires, your engine would just be roaring.
These are tiny tires?
I mean, relative, yeah.
They're like the same size.
So the other thing we saw down there is that the bushings are all kind of shot, but there's a brand new gas tank, so that's good. And yeah.
Is that why you had to get coated in the other thing, or was that something else?
Yes, the failed coating of the Scout gas tank. Never talked about that.
Okay.
Thanks, Niobe. Just kidding.
Kind of rusted. Is that a new kit?
Is this, well, it's just you rent them for free from
Oh my knees.
Well, you rent it for free.
How do you rent something for free?
You just, well, basically you buy it, and then you buy it, technically. They charge you for the price for the whole thing.
You use it.
You use it, and if you return it undamaged, they give you all your money back. But you know, it's good for O'Reilly's too, because they, you know, you're in there, you're gonna buy parts and stuff, so.
Right.
And if you break it or something, you pay for it. So they have nothing to lose by loaning it to you for free. And then you don't have to buy like these goofy parts. Like who wants this?
Should keep that.
Keep it?
Yeah, put it on the
I'll
wall.
put it next to my Chevy one.
You have a Chevy one?
Yeah.
Where?
In the box over there by my The box over there by my All right, so that's off. Oh my God, there's so much more room. I already have an electric fan that I can use. I don't think this radiator is going to cut it. Let's grab this radiator. Is this the inline 6 radiator? It looks like it because it looks like it bolts to a core support.
But it's so big.
It's tiny, actually. It's funny that you say it's big. It's tiny. I don't even see how this is.
Radiators are small.
No, they're huge. They got to be big. So let's grab a bolt and see if we can turn this engine over. You want to try it? You want to use maximum torque?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. This is a 15. I think I remember it's a 15/16. Let's see. Yep. Wow. How do I remember these things? See if you can turn it to the right. This way.
Yeah, no.
No?
No.
Ooh, that sounds crusty. Well, but it's turning. Ooh, that did not sound good.
That definitely did not sound good.
Well, it's turning. I mean, it's turning now. It looks, you know, that was probably some ridging built up in the cylinder wall, you know, from the, so what happens is, at any given time, one of these cylinders has got the exhaust valve open. I think 2 actually have the exhaust valve either open or starting to open or starting to close. So when they park like this for a long time, and one of the valves is open, then condensation comes up through the header, because it's metal that's getting hot and cold all the time. Condensation. And sits in the cylinder and creates a rust ring around the top of the cylinder.
And that's what was the crust.
I think so.
Sound.
Let me put a ratchet on this because it can go faster. What is it? That's the sound I don't like. You hear that? You hear that?
The metal sound?
Yeah.
Sounds like that.
Oh, God, that sounds horrible.
You can look up what the engine is
Yeah.
later.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
There's
Sorry.
a number right there.
There is? Yeah, let's look up the number.
HFTK354BB.
It's called the engine code identification label. On the right passenger side valve cover contains the engine build date.
96.
96, okay. It's a 96.
52196.
520, almost. Oh, yeah. So where's the 302?
Does CEP1 help?
Hold on. 302 Windsor casting number location.
So it's going to be F
4 letters?
I'm figuring this out. 4-digit casting code followed by a 4-digit basic part. Basic blah blah blah.
FISC and then like an 89.
That said F1C.
F1SE. Cutting to the chase, we were able to get this shot of the block revealing a F1SE code underlined here, which is basically your bog standard 302 Windsor roller motor small block 91 to 96. Okay.
Maybe you'll be a Ford guy after this is done.
Yeah. And I'd also, while we're exploring, like to find the VIN number.
What's that?
That's the unique number associated with this
Specific?
with this vehicle.
Oh, where would you find that one?
Well, what we do is we go to the John Nashville. I'm actually in this video, and I'm showing where the VIN number is.
And you can't remember?
Little video. Viewers, I'm Matt from Matt's Garage, and John's one of those weird guys who has a body on top of their Bronco.
Yeah. Smart
On the
ass.
front and another one.
Okay, what did I say it was there? Where did I tap it?
Numbers are. So I'm going to show you a close-up of one VIN number, which is behind the shock tower on the front, and another one that's right under the passenger seat.
Come on, Matt. Just get to the point.
So, is that
That Matt guy is really helpful. I should like and subscribe to his channel. Oh, it's right by that circle.
Oh, okay. See, you should have watched the video. Just subscribe to that guy too.
So it's U15, right?
U15
Here, hold on.
FL 79146.
U15. Okay, I think I see the 15. What is it?
U15 FL
FL, okay.
791486.
9. Yeah, okay.
That's it?
Yeah.
Woo!
All right, good. So the VIN matches the title. That's exciting. So that means that this is the truck that it's registered as. Sometimes guys, like, let's say you crash one, but you have the title for another, like, I don't know why, but you know what I'm saying? Let's just say, like, you destroyed a truck.
So that
and you
means
have
it's
a
the
VIN.
car that we thought it was.
Yeah, basically it's a car that we thought it was. In summary, you enjoying looking at the registration?
Yeah, I was trying to see if there's anything else on here.
In summary, we identified the transmission, the transfer case, the gear ratio in the axles, that the VIN is right, and then we found the casting on the block. Is it on?
Yeah.
So I took the starter motor out, and it's not making that sound anymore.
Oh. It's making a whistle though.
That's the compression.
So it's the starter motor. Yay, it's not the engine or the transmission.
No, it's not the engine or the transmission. It was a starter motor.
That's good. Right? Yeah.
I don't know, is this knocking sound? That sounds a bit weird to me, but there's probably no oil in this thing. Wow, if you're still watching at this point, you are hardcore. See you next time on Matt's Garage.